Chapter 7. Sincere Apology.
At the thought of this, Quinn's gaze turned a little strange and her expression changed. Upon seeing this, Lily said, "Quinn, you are on the wrong side of this matter. Perhaps you should apologize to Dr. Chen." Apologize. This word appeared in Quinn's mind. Quinn was suddenly filled by an urge. She felt like getting up to chase after Fade. Quinn wanted to apologize to Fade and to ask for his forgiveness. However, as soon as the thought surfaced in her mind, it was held back by Quinn. Due to her personality and identity, Quinn could not see herself doing that. In the end, Quinn could only sigh softly and said, "I know. I am indeed at fault. The punishment for Fade will be cancelled immediately." But, as for Dr. Chen, Lily reminded her. Quinn replied in a serious tone, "Manager Wei, I have something else to do. You may go first." Lily paused for a moment, then nodded and left. Yes, President Lin. In the large office, there was only Quinn now. Quinn sat quietly on the executive chair. Her mind was in a mess. "I was wrong. I have to apologize to that man, but... Quinn's mind was running wild before she suddenly remembered what Fade had told her at noon. "Fade had told me that, Secretary King, is this really?" Quinn's expression became gloomy instantly. After her working hour ended, Quinn did not work overtime. Unlike how she usually would, she chose to return home immediately. Quinn sat on the sofa, thinking of how to face and apologize to Fade when he came back. Perhaps it was a very simple thing for most people, but for Quinn, it was something very difficult. Maybe it's more meaningful to prove it in action. Quinn was not good for her words. Suddenly, Quinn thought for a method to apologize to Fade. Quinn rushed into the kitchen and said to housekeeper Wang, who was preparing dinner, "Auntie Wang, you may have a rest today. I'll prepare for dinner." This. Housekeeper Wang was a little surprised. "What's the matter, miss?" "No, nothing. I just want to have it a try." Quinn tried to cover it up. 2 hours later, Quinn, who had messed up in the kitchen, finally made 6 dishes, with the help of housekeeper Wang. Quinn felt uneasy when she placed the 6 bad-looking dishes on the table. At the same time, Quinn looked out on the door expectantly, waiting for Fade's return. It was getting dark and it had been 3 hours since their working hours ended, but Fade was not back yet. Quinn couldn't help but start pondering about Fade's whereabouts. Why hasn't Fade come back yet? Was he involved in the accident on the way back? Or he was badly hurt by me, so he left directly? Half an hour later, Fade still had not returned yet. Housekeeper Wang looked at Quinn, whose face was full of disappointment, and said, "Miss, why don't you eat first? When Sir comes back, I'll prepare the meal for him." Although housekeeper Wang was very curious about Sir's sudden appearance in this household, she was very familiar with Quinn's character and knew too well not to ask much. Housekeeper Wang just vaguely guessed that Quinn's abnormal behavior today must have something to do with Mr. Quinn looked at the completely darkened sky outside. She sighed softly and whispered in her heart, "Has he really left?" Housekeeper Wang, "I don't have appetite. I'll just skip dinner tonight." Quinn stood up and went upstairs, going to her room. "Miss, this." Housekeeper Wang sighed, her face full of distress and helplessness. After another half an hour, housekeeper Wang looked at dish that had already been heated twice. She couldn't help sighing and was ready to clean up the bowls and chopsticks. Just then, the sound of footsteps was heard coming at the door. It was Fade who had come back. "Sir, you have finally come back." Housekeeper Wang hurriedly greeted him. Housekeeper Wang saw Fade sweating profusely and asked in surprise, "Sir, what has happened to you?"
Fade gave housekeeper Wang a smile and did not explain further. "I'm fine." In fact, Fade himself could not explain. After Fade got off work today, he realized that he did not know the way back home. The night before yesterday, when he had just arrived at Bay City, Fade spent the night in the hotel with Quinn. Yesterday, they went to the Civil Affairs Bureau together before going back to Quinn's villa. This morning, they went to the company together. Quinn had been the one who driving this past 2 days, and he just rode along. However, Quinn drove back home from the company, straight after work today. Fade was alone and did not know where the villa was located at. Finally, with the vague memory of the location of the villa in his mind and the luxury neighborhood was not very common in Bay City. Fade finally found the villa after asking the locals. He was now covered in sweat after walking a long journey back. However, it would not matter now. After all, Fade had decided to leave after tonight.
Sir, please wash your face. I'll heat up the dishes for you, housekeeper Wong said.
Fade nodded. When Fade saw the dishes on the table, he was stunned. Auntie Wong, did you cook this? Fade has tasted housekeeper Wong cooking yesterday. Even if it was not comparable to a 5-star hotel dish, the cooking skills of the ordinary restaurants were definitely not as good as that of housekeeper Wong. However, the dishes on the table now, be it the appearance or other aspects, were far different from yesterday.
Housekeeper Wong picked up the dishes and explained, Sir, the dishes today were not cooked by me. It was Miss who had cooked them.
What? Quinn made them? Fade was really shocked. Fade was always assumed the president, who had a cold personality in the eye of the public, would not know how to cook.
Housekeeper Wong continued, Sir, I don't know what happened to Miss today. She looked distraught when she come back from work. She even insisted on preparing dinner by herself. It took a lot of effort for her to make dinner, but you didn't come back. Miss waited her for a long time and didn't eat anything as she was waiting for you. She just went upstairs without eating.
What? This is for me? Fade's eyes widened and looked incredibly surprised. He couldn't help but looked up and stare Quinn's room. At this moment, Fade's heart was in turmoil. Could it be because of what happened this afternoon? That's why she...
Sir, please wait for a moment. I'll heat up the dishes for you, housekeeper Wong said.
Fade quickly reached out and grabbed housekeeper Wong before saying, Housekeeper Wong, it's fine. I'll just eat it.
But the food has already turned cold, housekeeper Wong said.
Never mind. Fade smiled and picked up the cold food and started to devour them. Although the food was cold and they did not that taste good, Fade felt the warmth from them. That night Fade sleep soundly. Thanks for watching and reading. The other chapter of this novel is at the description. Next chapter will be uploaded tomorrow. Please like and subscribe for more incoming novel videos. Thank you.